Welcome back to Quilts from the Cabin. My name is Kim Exshaw of ExshawQuilts.com, and in today's podcast episode, we have lots to share. I have lots to catch up on. It's been a few weeks since I have filmed, and I'm really excited to be back. Happy New Year, by the way. I hope you had a lovely holiday. We did. It was pretty quiet, and I love it that way. But yeah, so let's just jump into the episode. I have been big happy lately. I really enjoyed making bags, so I'm gonna start there. I'm just shifting everything so I can show you better. So this pattern hasn't been released quite yet. Maybe when I post the video it will be, but I'm just waiting for tech editing to be finished up. But yeah, so this actually inspired the tutorial. So I have a tutorial on how to make all of the fabric totes that look like this. So I have a tutorial, so you can go check that out. The tutorial covers how to do the assembly, the bag assembly. So that is after your quilted pieces. But this is called Churn, is it Dash? I can't remember which way it goes. Dash, Churn Dasher. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I just love how this turned out. I love that design. But anyway, I used a new color for this. So normally I get like a true black. So back there on the wall is like that wall hanging there. I've used a true black, and honestly I think I prefer a true black. This one is called Almost Black by Northcott, and it is black. It is beautiful, but it's like not quite, like it's not a deep black, and it is kind of a warmer black than what I was like anticipating. And in video it looks much warmer. It actually looks brown in video, which is kind of odd, but in real life it does look black, and it is beautiful. I love it, but I haven't really like, it was meant to be with a color combination for the shop, and I don't really like it together in person. So I'm just gonna do two colors, which I honestly love anyway. So, but yeah, so the tutorial went out the other day, and it just shows you how to do the assembly, the bag assembly. And I did do the same color, like the black on the inside with the black strap and stuff. So yeah, it was a lot of fun actually. I've been really enjoying making bags, especially totes. So but yeah, this one turned out really nice, and the pattern will be available soon. But I would say it would be, you know, a confident beginner. I make a lot of my designs with like half square triangles, so I try to keep it as beginner friendly as possible. But I mean, it really depends on your skill level and where you're at and what you feel, honestly, what you feel comfortable in. I think a lot about starting a new project is like your headspace, like what you feel that you can do, right? And I think that kind of factors in a lot of it. I just go for it. I just go for like, if it doesn't turn out, then I'll use the fabric for something else. But that's how I kind of approach things. But yeah, so this turned out really nice. I'm really happy with how it finished up. And then I have another tote. This one I'm so excited about. Okay, so you know how much I love indigo, right? Indigo is kind of like my favorite thing. I love natural dyeing indigo in the summertime, but it's definitely not something that you can do in the wintertime and never do indigo inside. But not only is it messy, but it does have fumes, as you might know. But I've done my best trying to pick out Northcott colors that would match my indigo, and although they're not a perfect match that I had hoped for, they're pretty close. So I think I got that with this bag. So this is actually, this design is not the size, but the design itself is the same that I used on the Sawtooth pillow. Did I call it that? I think so. But yeah, so that pillow pattern has been the best seller of like the whole year. It is done so well. So I wanted to bring that design over into other makes, and I did that with the tote. and I'm really happy with how it turned out. The blues are just so pretty, and like I said, I tried to match them as close as I could to the indigo so I can still like live my blue life in the winter. And so yeah, so this is, I believe this dark blue is, it's not a perfect match like I said, but it's pretty close to my dark blue indigo. And for this I used Northcott Midnight Blue. And then I believe this one is called Ripple. So it has a bit of like that dusty blue kind of shade that I was going for. And yeah, I love this too. It turned out really nice. And I used like the medium blue for the inside for the liner. Yeah, so I'm really happy with that one. I think this bag is my favorite make so far, and the pillow actually, but this bag is like, I love it. It just makes me so happy to look at it. I love the variations in blue because it just reminds me of like when you're hand dyeing indigo, no two blues, regardless of like you following the recipe to a T, you're still gonna get different shades, and I love that. I love the different shades that you get with indigo, and the more you dip, the lighter it gets, and vice versa. But even so, I mean, even if you use like a different brand of indigo, or maybe they have, that brand has used a different farm for that indigo, you're always gonna get something a little bit different, and I love that. I love that variation in it. So I was really happy to find colors that were very similar to indigo, and so I can still live my blue life in the wintertime when I'm out of my indigo. And I think I have a little bit of indigo left, but honestly, I made a quilt, a giant quilt, out of all of the indigo that I had from my daughter's quilt, and I'll show you that in a second. I'm going to try to show you the quilts the best I can. I'm just going to go back there and hold them up, and hopefully you can kind of see them. But yeah, I wanted to show off the quilts today too, and not just like the smaller projects, even though I really do love smaller quilted projects. They're just a lot of fun. So yeah, so this is the other fabric tote, and then I have a couple with leather straps and one with a leather bottom. So you might have seen this tote on my Instagram. I don't have the pattern published yet, but this is hand dyed indigo, and this is kind of like a match to the Arrowhead table runner that I did that I really loved. Actually, that was purchased, I forgot to mention. So I'm starting to get quite the collection of like quilts and quilted goods, so I decided that I would open my physical store again, but I have a new name for it. It's called OneTrickPonyGoods.com, and that's where I'm going to sell all of the makes that I make with the patterns, and a couple of other things that I don't want to make patterns for, like the quilt coats and the vests that I'm planning on doing, which I will show you in a minute as well. But I just wanted to open the store again, and because of the tariffs, it kind of makes it a little tricky. The majority of my audience and actually buyers are in the US. Hi Marnie, if you're here. She bought my Arrowhead table runner, which it was really hard to let it go, I'll be honest, but I am so grateful that she bought it, and she's gonna give it a good home, so thank you so much. But I decided I just wanted to start the physical goods again. So for people that are in the US, you're welcome to email me. I can't actually do all of the tariffs automatically on the website, so if you email me, I can send you an estimate for shipping and the tariffs, not a problem. So I'm happy to do that, but just email me and let me know what you're interested in, and I will give you a quote. So anyway, back to the bag. So this design, I was so in love with the table runner that I wanted to make a bag out of it as well. So this is the Arrowhead bag, and I don't have it, like I said, I don't have the pattern listed yet, but I will be selling it in my One Trick Pony Goods shop. So this is hand dyed indigo with real genuine leather, and what I did, I made this one extra special. So my daughter is an artist, and she does she hand carves these stamps, and they're beautiful. Like, she literally draws them on the stamps and then carves them out. It's so cool to watch her do it. But anyway, she was really into really into beetles, which I think is really cool. And I showed a design earlier. I think I did it in another tote bag or something. Oh yeah, I did, in the Gathering tote. But so I hand stamped them for the lining of this bag. And this liner is actually vintage tablecloth that I got from the Legion earlier this year. And it just turned out so cool. Like, it looks like the bugs are like going in a circle around. Isn't that neat? So I was really happy with how this turned out. It turned out so pretty. And I love that the liner is just, it's different, right? It's not something that you see every day. And that's the kind of things that I love to make. I love to make different things that you don't see every day, but that are still really beautiful and meaningful. So yeah, this will be a tote in the shop, and hopefully I'll release the pattern. I just keep on dragging my feet about it. I don't know. I think because it is not a beginner pattern, like the other tote I have listed as an intermediate. So I'm a little bit hesitant to make patterns that are for intermediate, but I do have a few in the shop. Like my Spirit Bear quilt is intermediate, and the Leah tote, and obviously this will be as well. So, but yeah, this is just, it's just a fun make. I really enjoyed this one. It turned out really nice. So yeah, so that is the other tote that I've kind of, look at all the variations in the indigo. I don't know if you can see that. Isn't that neat? Oh, I love indigo so much. But anyway, so yeah, so that is another tote that I have to do the pattern for. So this last tote, I told you I was like tote happy. I was like bag happy. I've enjoyed making them so much. And this design, actually, it's a Sawtooth again, because I am obsessed with Sawtooth. But anyway, I wanted to make a brown bag out of the color. So let me back up a little bit here. So I had made quite a few quilt coats using this color, not this exact color, but well, it's pretty close. It's just like maybe there's a little variation that if you put them next to each other, you'd notice a little bit of variation, but if you put them separately, you wouldn't know. So Kona Pecan is what I normally use, but I kind of wanted to stay all with one brand for everything. And so I actually got a swatch card for the Northcott fabrics. That's how I've been able to like kind of match the indigo, which is like, because shopping online, the colors don't always, like, they kind of lie to you depending on your monitor, the color of your monitor, or what you have it set at. If you have a warm setting or something, it can like, so anyway, I matched the Kona Pecan with the Northcott Savannah, and it's almost like perfect, but not quite. There's a little bit of variation, but not enough to like, you know, if you don't know, you don't know, right? But yeah, so this is the other large tote. So this size is the same as the Arizona tote that I have already published. And this pattern is published as well, but I wanted to do a large tote with the leather straps. I just love leather straps. So this is all fabric except for that. And I did the liner the same as the outer, so it all matches. And I didn't put a pocket in this one. Honestly, I forgot to do it. I had plans to add a pocket, and then I was so excited to get it put together that I forgot to add the pocket to the liner before I sewed it in. So that's okay. I can make another bag and maybe add that liner later, but yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. So I did want to mention, I do have a tutorial on how to make the leather strap totes as well, and they are a little bit different than the fabric totes. So these ones, the liner and the bag are like turned when you're putting them together. If you watch the tutorial, you'll know what I mean. So this one, the construction on this is a little bit differently than this tote, which has the leather straps. And the reason I did that, because some people got a little bit up in arms about that, but the reason I did that is because these are fabric, so on the sides, right? Whereas these are leather straps on the main body of the bag. And if I wanted to turn them, I didn't want the bulk of the leather to kind of like bunch up underneath. Not only that, but I didn't want the stitching from the leather handle to be on the inside of the bag. So that's why this is a drop-in liner. And I fold down the top of the bag before I put the exterior of the bag. I fold that over and I stitch it with like 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 inch, or whatever I did. And then I add the straps. So then you get a nice finish. I lost my train of thought there. I don't know where it went. But anyway, so the construction is a little bit different for that reason, because I wanted a nicer finish inside of the bag. So I wanted to hide the stitching on the leather, and I didn't want it to be exposed on the inside of the bag. So it's just a cleaner finish, right? So that's why I did it that way. I did a little bit differently, but yeah, so that's why. So the next thing I was going to talk about is, actually I'll show you the quilt coats. We'll talk about quilt coats, and then I'll show you all of the quilts that I've been working on. So the quilt coats, I sold those when I started selling finished goods back in 2020, and they did really well. But I've been experimenting on how to assemble them before, because I forgot every step that I actually did, because I did not take very good notes when I was making them before, and I can't remember the stitch or the seam allowance that I used and a bunch of other things. So I've been experimenting on how I want them to look, and so far I haven't really decided. I know what I don't like, and I'll show you. So I took a couple old quilts that I had around the house, and that I was okay cutting up, because what I didn't want to do is, like, you know, quilt this beautiful quilt and then cut it up for the quilt coat only to not like the fit. So I grabbed a couple old baby quilts that I had around to cut up, and this is this is the second variety that I used, actually. So I took and I matched up the front panel there, but I don't like it. And the reason I don't like it is because I actually like a collar, and on this one, I don't know, I don't really like the bias tape or the binding to cover the raw edges either. The last time I made the quilt coats, I did like a liner. I didn't quilt the liner, and I added that by hand inside the jacket, and I actually like that finish more than, you know, being like this finish here, right, with the bias tape on the inside of the jacket. I don't know, I'm not a big fan of that. So I haven't decided if I want to do that or if I want to do a liner separately and then stitch it in by hand so you can't see the stitches on the outside of the coat. I don't know yet. I haven't decided, because this is not going to be a pattern. This is just going to be a finished good in my One Trick Pony shop. So, but yeah, the fit is good this time. So I'll show you the other one that I did. And I believe I used a 1/4 inch seam allowance for this. Man, I gotta be better about taking notes for myself. But yeah, so it's cute and it fits nice, but I just don't like the style of it. I just don't, ignore this anyway, because this is just like I was just experimenting with old quilts. I don't really care about, you know, the look of it. I was going for how it would fit and the overall look of how it would fit on your body. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know about not having a collar, because the other quilt coats that I sold before, they were more of a chore coat, so they had the collars. So did I do pockets on those? I can't remember right now. Maybe one variety I did. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen those coats. I did like the pecan, and I did another ochre, like it's like this yellowy, dark yellow, beautiful color. But anyway, so I haven't decided on a style yet, and this is a design that I did before. So this is the quilt coat design, like the block style and color is what I did with the other quilt coats before, except this fit and style is a little bit different. The cut of it is different than what I did before. And I didn't even finish this because for this one I did a 5/8 seam allowance, and I really don't like that. That is way too much seam allowance. Not only that, but in the armpits, because I didn't calculate when I first made this, I wasn't thinking. And I didn't calculate the bulk of it actually being a quilted coat rather than, you know, just like a regular coat, right? Because you always have to, like, when you're making quilt coats, you have to take that into account, is like the bulk of actually using a quilt rather than, you know, like just canvas fabric or whatever. So it's quite a bit thicker. But anyway, so the armholes are way too tight, even for my daughter, she's very tiny, and this is still way too tight. So I know now in my original quilt coats that I used a 1/4 inch, and then I used a liner for those quilt coats, and I love that fit. And I only did one size for those coats because of production. It's so much easier to offer one size than it is to offer like a bunch of sizes, but this time I would like to offer 3 sizes, so I really have to work at the fit before I decide to offer them. So I'm testing everything out, making sure that it's good to go before I decide on a finished style. So that leads me to the next thing. I really wanted to try a quilted vest, so I'm really excited about trying that. I've just done all of my panels, which I don't know where I did. Oh, I put some of them over here. This is just one. This is like a pocket panel, but I have the other panels somewhere. I don't know where I put them, but anyway, so I'm quilting up just a solid color here. I think I use Liberty Blue Northcott. It's a beautiful blue, and like I said, it matches quite nicely to the hand-dyed indigo that I do, but not a perfect match, but close. So those are my quilting lines. I haven't quilted it yet, so I have all my pieces ready to go and ready to quilt. So I didn't want to do any quilt designs on this one. I was actually excited about a solid vest, so I was like, okay, well, I'll try that and see what the fit is like and how it, you know, fits on the body, because it's hard. It is hard to take into account quilted material that you're using rather than just like a normal vest that doesn't have the batting or anything in it, right? Because it makes a big difference in how it fits the body. But yeah, so I'm testing this out right now, and fingers crossed it works, because I think it's going to be super cute. I haven't decided how I wanted to finish it yet or what I want it to look like, but we'll just go with it. So yeah, so that is the other project that I have going on that I'm really excited about. I want to start this today and get it all quilted out and cut out and maybe sewn together, just to kind of like put it on to see how it's gonna fit. So I'm really excited about that. Fingers crossed it works out. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you the quilts. I'm so excited. So I'm gonna take them and I'm gonna go back there just to show you, because they are so big. I don't know if I can hold them up and you can actually get a, maybe, I don't know, but I'll see how it goes. Okay, so this first one, it is a pattern in my shop already. It has been tested and tested and tested, but this is something that I've held on to because I'm in love with this quilt. I really am. It brings me so much joy to sit and hand quilt it that I haven't finished it. I can't. I love it so much that I just want that feeling to linger a little bit more. So this is the Pioneer quilt. And this is hand-dyed indigo along with like factory dyed. So the black is not hand-dyed, but the blue is. And oh my goodness, I love this quilt. Not the design of the quilt is really pretty too, but it's like the feeling this quilt gives me. It's just made with so much love. I just want to hold on to it a little bit longer. Is that weird? But yeah, I've been quilting on it for 4 years. I just take it out when I need a pick-me-up, and this always does that for me. So it's all hand quilted. And for this quilt, because it was one of the last quilts that I did that I used pins for, and I've really enjoyed glue basting. Actually, I should talk about that for just a second before I show it to you. So I have discovered, because I love hand quilting, big stitch hand quilting is like my absolute favorite thing to do. That is why I quilt. Like, honestly, I love big stitch hand quilting. I love seeing those stitches. I love big thread. I even went so far as trying like crochet thread. It was way too big, way too thick. I think I used like a size 10. That was way too much. I couldn't quilt with that. But I haven't tried thinner crochet threads yet, so that's kind of piqued my interest a little bit, like maybe a size 30 or a size 20 crochet thread. But anyway, so I use like a pearl cotton, a number 8, and love it. But anyway, so this was, like I said, this was one of the last quilts that I used pin basting, and I always found that so tedious, you know, like, I know I don't know, maybe I'm just being a little, but just putting the pins in and then removing them as I go is kind of annoying. And it's also annoying to put your quilting lines on after you have basted it with the pins. I find that really annoying. So I do like using glue. The last, I don't know, 2 years or something, I've been using glue. And I use, actually I'm just gonna grab it so you have a visual. So I use Elmer's liquid washable school glue, but I found, so I started using this, and I used this for a long time actually, before I discovered sticks. And the reason I don't love this as much is because it pools. Like when you put it on your quilt, right, there's always one pool that you don't get or that you don't see, and then it becomes like this pool. I wonder if I've got I think I did it on this actually. Yeah, I did it on this. I mean, it washes out. I don't know if you can see that, but you can see like this little bit of glue there. Can you see that? Where I didn't realize that I didn't get that like pool, right? That is impossible to hand quilt, and it's really annoying. So I was like, okay, I saw somebody use a spatula, which I do. That works really good, honestly. So I have like a spatula just dedicated to, it's like full of like fluff there from the batting, but rubbing it like gently, like spreading out the glue with the spatula works really well. But I found that works even better is the glue stick. So this is Elmer's all-purpose washable glue stick. This is awesome for hand quilting. I love it. So I use that. I do not get those pools that I would get before with the liquid glue, and it just goes on so nice. I haven't had a pucker or anything like that, but for the bigger quilts, I do find it's anything with the bigger quilts, whether you're glue basting or pin basting, it's annoying. Like, it's just so big. And in my house, like, because the cabin is so small, when I go to do, this is the reason why I don't do big gigantic quilts all the time. I do them for my family, but you know, anyway, so I have to move all of the furniture and all of the kitchen furniture out of the way, bleach the floor, let it dry, and then lay out my quilt bottoms or my backing, and then layer my quilts that way. It is like an all-day event, and it takes up the entire cabin, which is not really like awesome when you have kids and dogs and people in and out and stuff. So I forgot where I was going with that, but anyway, so I find that glue basting those big gigantic quilts by the time you get to a section that you've added glue to that you want to, you know, fan out, it is dried. So and I have done it in smaller sections, but I find that that is like, ugh. So I like to pin baste my big quilts and maybe just like top it up with some glue here and there. But yeah, I love stick glue, washable stick glue for the quilts. And I did see a comment, just so you know, I did see a comment in a quilt group saying that they use the disappearing purple. I have not had this problem ever, but they said that there was a pink residue left over from that. I have not found that to be true for anything that I have done with that disappearing, like it dries clear, it goes on that purple color with the Elmer's school glue. I have not found that, thank goodness. But others say that they had an experience where I don't know if they were using Elmer's. Actually, that would have been a question I should have asked. I assumed they were using Elmer's, but maybe they were using a different brand. Which, I mean, if you're using, like, say, like a dollar store, like no name invisible glue, that could happen maybe. I haven't tried it. I've only ever used Elmer's because it works. But anyway, so yeah, I forgot what I was like on a tangent about there, or what the initial point was, but anyway, so this quilt was the last one that I really did the pin basting. And there's something about the, maybe it is the pins, I don't know, but there's something really, really special about this quilt. And it isn't the design necessarily. I mean, the design is beautiful. I actually started this for my son because I thought it was very a masculine kind of quilt design, but I've held on to this quilt and taken my time quilting it just because it brings me so much joy. So yeah, it's all like hand quilted. Oh man, it's just so lovely. It really is. So I'm gonna go back there and try to show you the full, you know, I don't know if you can see that really, but I'm trying. But yeah, so this is the back. Yeah. I know I have to eventually just get it done and let go, but I've held on to it for years because it's just brought me so much joy. It's just so lovely. I love to sit at the table and quilt this and kind of get lost in it. I'll listen to my podcast. Sometimes I like the quiet. I do it at night when everybody's in bed, and it's just like one of those feelings you can't even describe. It's just so lovely. This is the reason why I quilt, is hand quilting. It's because of how much I fell in love with that aspect of it. So, but yeah, so this is the Pioneer quilt, and it is a pattern in my shop. So, but I just couldn't let go of it. I haven't been able to let go of it yet. I know I have to eventually, but it's just one of those quilts that you just kind of want to hold on to for a little bit. And maybe I'll list it for sale in my One Trick Pony, but I don't know yet. We'll see. It's the making of this quilt that I've enjoyed so much that I've had a hard time letting go of. Like whenever I need to pick me up, I grab this quilt, I take it out, and I do a couple rows, and it just puts me in a better place. So yeah, so that's why I have a hard time letting that one go. All right, so what is the next one that I wanted to show you? Oh, I can show you this one. So I'm not sure if I actually shared this one on the podcast yet, but it's a quilt day, so I'll just show you anyway. But this one is the quilt that I made for the Quilt Workshop. And this one's all hand dyed with natural indigo as well. It's a baby sized. Man, this was so much fun to make. So I don't have this as a pattern in the shop. I wanted the Quilt Workshop to be special, so the pattern is only available in the workshop. So you get all of the lessons. There's a ton in there. I go through absolutely everything in that Quilt Workshop. And then you get the pattern, of course, in it, and also the supply list, all of the things and the tools that I use. So yeah, so this is the baby quilt, and this one I just machine quilted. And then I also have like the hand quilting tutorial. I actually use the Pioneer quilt for that. And I have the tutorial for big quilts. So I do have tutorials on YouTube that you can go check out as well. So if you're wanting to start hand quilting and that's the main interest, I do have a video on that. I did like a smaller project for that video, and you do quilt a little bit. I do, at least I quilt a little bit differently with smaller projects than I do like big quilts. So for my big quilts, I always go one direction, and the reason is for smaller quilts it doesn't really matter as much, but for bigger quilts I noticed that if you go in the opposite direction of what you have quilted, I find that it leaves like little waves. Like I don't know. It adds to the crinkle and the charm, but when I'm doing the quilting, it doesn't satisfy my brain to see that. So I like to quilt in one direction when I'm doing my big quilts, but smaller projects I go all over the place. And it doesn't make a difference because it's a smaller quilt and I love quilting that way. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so yeah, so I've been working on an Irish chain design. This quilt I'm making for my husband because he's part Irish. So I made it green and I made like an Irish chain. I just thought it was like, I don't know, probably darky, but I like it. So I made what color is this called again? Hickory by Northcott. It is a beautiful green, I've got to say. So I made this one. I just have to quilt it, and honestly I had a really hard time finding a number 8 pearl cotton in this color. So I was gonna I posted a poll of whether or not to do like this dark brown or the cream, and I wasn't happy with either one of doing that with quilting it with those colors. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna find a thread. So it took me 3 different tries but I found a thread that actually hopefully you can see that without me going to the back here. It's a throw sized. Oh, it's so beautiful. I love this quilt. It's one of my favorite makes right now. But anyway, I finally found a thread. It's not cotton though, unfortunately. It's a polyester, but whatever. It's a color that actually matches the quilt almost perfectly, so I'm really happy about that. So I haven't decided, because it is like a normal thread, it's not a, number 8 pearl cotton. I was like, ugh, I don't really like, I love big stitch hand quilting. That's kind of my thing. It makes me so happy to see all of those beautiful stitches. So, yeah, I haven't decided if I want to like quilt it, like hand quilt it traditionally. I think what is it, like maybe 8, 9, 10 stitches per inch it is. That's a lot. It's a lot of work, but I haven't decided yet if I want to hand quilt it with that regular thread or if I just want to machine quilt it. I'm kind of leaning towards machine quilting it. But yeah, it's just, oh, it's so pretty. I'm in love with this quilt. And it was so much fun to put together. Like, the blocks gave me life. I was so happy about not doing half square triangles. It was just squares and like rectangles, and yeah, and made me so happy to put this together. I had this quilt top done in a day. That's crazy. I know, like within 24 hours I had a quilt top. That's crazy. I totally, yeah, I just went hog wild on it. I was like so excited to get it done, and I was having so much fun. So I stayed up ridiculous and didn't sleep much, but I got it done and I was so happy about getting it done. But yeah, so this is another pattern that will be coming to the shop. I really got to get out and take some pictures, but it has been cold, so I haven't really wanted to go out in this cold to take pictures of the quilts. So And I need help with it as well, because I can't hold the quilts up and take pictures. So I usually take one of my kids and I have them, you know, stand on a chair and I take pictures of the quilts. So the quilts are a little bit more difficult. They take longer and they're harder to photograph, but so worth it. I'm really excited about this pattern. I love the color of it. My husband's really excited about having this one. So yeah. Okay, so that is, did I show you my daughters yet? I don't think I did. Okay, so that'll be the next one that I show you. Oh, here's the panels. These are the panels for the quilted vest that I'm making. I hid it underneath a pile of other quilts. So this is why I've opened a finished goods shop, because I'm starting to get, like, the cabin is so small that I don't have the storage. Okay, so this is the quilt that I'm making my daughter. They're huge. So my daughter and my son's quilts are just massive. So this one, I believe, actually I can't remember the size of this one at all. My son's quilt is a king, because he is a giant kid. He's like 6'3", 6'4". He's a huge kid. So, and he's only 16, if you can believe that. But anyway, my husband's tall too. Everybody's tall, and then there's me. It looks so funny because everyone is taller than me, and then there's me in this, like, so funny. Anyway, so this is the quilt that I have made my daughter. I actually made it this summer. I haven't even shown anybody. I haven't taken any pictures. So this is, it's got a border around the entire quilt, and excuse me if I don't say this correctly, but shibori. It's a Japanese indigo dyeing technique, and it's so much fun. I did all kinds of different designs, and I've included them all in the quilt. So I did a sashing in between the blocks. Oh, and then I separated them with a little, the sashing has like a little, well, not that one. I guess that one's more blue. You can see, there we go. So this shibori one kind of went a little bit lighter, but I have sashing in between the blocks, and she really wanted a sawtooth. So that's what I did for this quilt. And again, it's huge. It's beautiful, but it used up almost all of my indigo stash, which worth it, but I'm also sad about that. I love having an indigo stash. So that is one of the reasons why I wanted to match the indigo fabric that I dye with, like, a commercial fabric, like, you know, North Cod or something like that. So so I could do it year round, because I love this color so much. But anyway, yeah, so it's beautiful. Beautiful. She's really excited to have it too. So, but yeah, so like I said, I was working on the back of the quilts, and for this quilt, I miscalculated. I actually wrote down, I calculated right, but I wrote down the wrong number for the backing. So when I went to sew it all together and then I went to sandwich it, my backing is not big enough to fit this quilt, which totally sucks, because I had the whole house ripped apart to put these quilts together for Christmas, and I didn't yet actually get it done, because at that point I was so tired. I was like, I give up right now. So I still have to put a piece on the backing. I got the backing from my son's is like perfect, ready to go, but the backing on my daughter's quilt has just, I need to sew a big strip onto it, not very wide, but you know, the length of the quilt, in order to be big enough in order to quilt the top down. So yeah, so that kind of sucks, but that's okay. It might take me a hot minute to get around to doing that again, because like I said, I have to like literally take the entire cabin apart to do these big quilts. It doesn't fit upstairs at all. Like it's a small cabin, so I have to do it downstairs, and it's quite the thing. Okay, one more quilt. So this one is just a fun one, and I've shown it on the podcast before, but I finally got done the quilt top, And it's like an applique quilt, and oh my goodness, was this ever fun. I don't know if it'll have it as a pattern in the shop because it is kind of like kitsch, I guess, but it was a lot of fun. I'm gonna walk back there and show you. Hopefully you can see it, but it says hold your horses, and it's done with that hickory green eggshell for the back, and then the border is white, a double border that's white, and then the outside border is a espresso brown, and I did that so it looked like a framed print. I just thought it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to put together, but it was also like, I don't know, it's kind of like a little cheesy, I'll be honest, but it was such a fun project and went together quite quickly. So yeah. And I do have another applique project. I showed it on my Instagram, maybe on YouTube, I can't remember. I did it quite a while ago, but I haven't finished it because I got a little bit annoyed with my machine. It was a new machine, I hadn't used it, and at that point I just jumped in and just started doing it. And I should have practiced a little bit more before jumping into a big project, but that one is beautiful. It is, I can't remember the design that I used right now, but it's like, it is a potted flower. And I did one that is like, I think I did like 40 inches wide. It was ridiculous. Like, it's huge. Did I do 20 or 40? I can't remember right now, but it's massive. And I was so frustrated I had to put it away, but that was because I didn't know my machine yet, and I tend to jump into things before I should. So I'm gonna go back and finish that one too. It's really pretty. It's got a black backdrop and these big beautiful like flowers and stuff on it. It's so pretty, and it's vintage, of course. I love that. It looks folk arty, which I also love. So yeah, but I think that's all the quilts. I'm just gonna double check. Yeah, but that's it. I've shown you everything. I am so honored that you're here and watching the podcast, and if you made it this far, thank you so much for joining me. It's a pleasure to have you here, and thank you for all of the love that I'm getting and the pattern purchases. And like I said, if you have a question about patterns or a technique that I talk about in the pattern, please email me. I am more than happy to support you, like give you all of the answers. I will even make a tutorial. So if you're having a hard time in one portion of the pattern or whatever, especially for assembly, just reach out and ask me. I am more than happy to help you. So that's why we have the tutorials that we do, like for the tote bags and how to put the liners together, or the pouches and how to install the zipper, or the body pillows, which is pretty unique. that technique that I used in there. All of those are because I've gotten questions, and I'm more than happy to do that. I want this to be a really pleasant, lovely experience. So yeah, so thank you so much for purchasing patterns and supporting my shop, and going over. Some of you even have gone over and purchased things from One Trick Pony, which I was like, that is so cool. Thank you very much. I will be adding more this coming year. I don't even have everything added. It's been a little bit chaotic because of the Christmas season and stuff like that. But anyway, but yeah, now I'm back and we're doing more patterns. I have lots planned for this year. My fabric is all shown up, like I mentioned, and actually I even ordered a few more bolts in blue, just to have a little bit more variety. And so I have everything planned for this coming year, and I'm really excited to show you more of that and what I'm up to and all the things. And definitely, if you've made something from my patterns, please share it with me. It makes my day when I get those emails and pictures of your finished makes and the colors that you've chosen. That is so cool. Literally, I have those emails in a special folder in my email because I go back and I read them, and it just gives me hope, and just like, especially when you're having like kind of a crap day and you're like, you just need to pick me up, I go and read those, and I was like, oh right, That's so nice. So I appreciate that. I really do. So until next time, I'm hoping to have the podcast every week, or the latest every second week, depending on where I am. And sometimes I get a little bit carried away with the patterns and stuff, and making things that I forget to film, but I will do better. And we will have more podcasts and more tutorials and all of that jazz this year. So guest posts would be fun too, but I'm just not comfortable quite yet for that. But that is something that I've been asked about that is like really cool. So anyway, I am rambling. I tend to do that. But thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye now.